Oh, hey everybody.
Hi.
So welcome to the very first edition of bitlab Live. We're here live from the littleBits design studio here in New York City. And we have a couple of special guests for the show today. So feel free, it's a Google Hangout, anybody can join. And we're hoping to have a little fun, talk about the bitlab, and have a good 20 minutes.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Andrew Avron, and I am the product manager overseeing everything bitlab related. And right alongside me.
Hi, Paul Rothman, Director of R&D here at littleBits Electronics.
And as Paul said, this is going to be the first of many adventures in YouTube and video land. And we have Gabriel from a company called Gabotronics, and we have Jude, and both of them are going to be joining us today to talk through their demos for their submissions for the bitlab. In addition to that, we're going to have a little bit of trivia, and we will have a giveaway. So for those of you who are joining,
there'll be a prize, but it won't be this trophy. We'll be giving away a HDK. So we have our hardware development kit for designing modules for the bitlab, and we'll be giving one of those away to the winner of the trivia today.
Correct. We promise not to make it too difficult. But the trivia will be very quickly followed by some news in the open hardware world, and then finally we will open everything up to Q&A. So for those of you who are not joining live and are watching this after the fact on YouTube, just a reminder, our show runs live at 4 p.m. every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live here from New York City. So, without further ado, shall we kick off some of our wonderful demos?
Sure.
Excellent. Okay, so first of all, I would like to formally introduce Gabriel, who is joining us all the way from Florida, if I believe so.
Yes, Sarasota, Florida.
Excellent. And Gabriel works for a company called Gabotronics and has submitted an oscilloscope to the bitlab. And Gabriel, without further ado, why don't you show us how it all works?
All right. So here it is. It's an oscilloscope bit. It's based on my biLab oscilloscope. So I took that design and ported it to a little bit, and here it is working. So right now I have the power and I have an oscillator bit, and you can see that, well, that little black bar I see on the video is just an artifact of my webcam, but if you see it in person, it's not there. So as I increase or decrease the frequency, you can see the waveform on the display.
Nice.
I also have like different modes. I can set it like on meter mode, where you can check the frequency, you can check the voltage. You can also make an FFT of the signal. And it has like a basic mode, so if you just want to see what's going on, no, it doesn't matter the frequency, it will try to adjust the settings so you can always see a good waveform. So yeah, basically I can show more if we have time, but maybe at the end if we have more questions. But that's basically it.
Sure, yeah, that's great. Thank you, Gabriel. And I guess another note, an interesting note about the module is that it also has that USB output.
Yes, it has the USB output, so you can connect it to a computer or an Android device, and you can get the data and control the device.
And so that's a software program that you wrote, is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah. So
I'll probably make I'll probably make like a special version for the littleBits because the biLab has more features, and this is like a reduced set, so I might make a reduced software for just a little bit.
That sounds great.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think that's a really excellent thing to be able to have the module, but example for educators or other people that are kind of showing off what's going on with the modules, to maybe project or have people see things on a larger screen from the module itself.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent tool if you want to learn electronics. It's always nice to see the waveform.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a lot of fun with the synth kit as well. You get to play with the filters and play with the frequency and see and visually see all of that, as well as hearing it. So you get that sort of connection between the audio and the visuals, and it makes everything even more clear, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Gabriel.
Excellent. Okay, so next we have Jude, who's going to be walking us through her RGB LED. Jude, it was wonderful to meet you in person when we saw each other at Maker Faire.
Yes,
and
Andrew.
Jude was awesome enough to actually bring her demo straight to Maker Faire, and it was up alongside everybody else. So that was very, very, very cool. So thank you, Jude, for doing that. So.
Oh, thanks for your hospitality. I spent the Saturday before making 4 modules of that.
Awesome.
Okay, so right here I'm demoing 2 RGB LEDs that I'm using an IR proximity sensor to change the color on this monster, whom I'm calling Jeffrey, with a J, not a G. So you have a Jeff there, right?
Yeah, we do.
I almost named him Jeff, but okay, he's a monster. So if you get too close, then he opens his mouth, and I like to feed him markers. And he eats rainbows too. Oh yeah, you want that? Good monster. And Legos. So that's just a servo with a timeout, and I can turn that off so we can just look at the RGB LEDs. So then if you flip a switch on the RGB LEDs, or the controllable RGB LEDs, then they turn into color fade mode. So depending upon how close you are or far away in this setup, they'll go faster or slower. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's very smooth.
Very smooth. Good. So it's just with 2 proto bits that I used, and it wasn't that hard to hook up into the littleBit system. Once you get the hang of it.
And you're using it's a AT Mega on there?
Yes, that's an AT Tiny 45.
Oh, AT Tiny. Okay, great.
AT Tiny. Yeah. Yeah. So it's little. I've got an op amp on here and an AT Tiny and 3 resistors. That's pretty much it, and a switch to go between the modes. So you can make a traffic light with it, which I have as a project on the site. You can make your robots have emotion or whatever teddy bear you want to make feel certain feelings. And I think there's a lot of different projects you could do with this dynamic, changing RGB.
Excellent. Yeah, I think it's something. So we've had just this sort of simple RGB LED in our library for a while, and it's something that we've talked about, and it would be cool to have a color change RGB LED. And so it's wonderful that you came along and brought that to the biLab. That's really kind of the whole idea behind the biLab, is to kind of have everybody contribute, and there's lots of ideas out there, and to be able to kind of bring them all to one place and share them is really what the whole biLab is about.
That's so cool. It seems to be what the whole company's about, really.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Jude, thank you so much. And we're gonna have you and Gabriel both stick around. And we'll see if there are any questions from the larger community. But for right now, we're going to move on to the next section of things. Really quickly, we want to talk about some news in the open hardware space. And so, actually, we just we're less than 24 hours away from the deadline that we were speaking about earlier. Is that right?
Yes. So the Open Source Hardware Association, or OSHWA, is looking for new board members for the organization. So there's 1 day left. If you want to nominate yourself or somebody else, you can go to their website and nominate folks. for the board. It's a great organization. They recently had the Open Hardware Summit in Rome about 2 weekends ago. It's the first time that the summit was outside of the U.S. Last year it was at MIT. I think this is the first one that I missed, unfortunately. But it's great that the sort of open hardware community is getting out there, and it's spreading out through the rest of the globe, and having a lot of people join in and participate. And so there's one more day left. If you're interested or know anybody that would be interested in being on the board for the Open Source Hardware Association, go to the website and check it out.
You couldn't manage a trip to Rome?
Not this time.
I wish. Okay, so now we get to do the fun stuff, or more fun stuff, excuse me. We get to go give away stuff. We always like doing that because people get very excited. And so our trivia question of the week, for those of you who were able to come to Maker Faire, you should hopefully know the answer to this. But the trivia question of the week is, at Maker Faire this year in Queens, we featured half of our booth for our up-and-coming smart home kit. And we did something very unique. We painted this room an entire color. What was that color? And so, if you know the answer to that question, we're asking you to log on to Twitter, and we want you to tweet littleBits directly, hashtag #AskBitLab, so littleBits, and then hashtag #AskBitLab, and tell us the answer. And then you've got 48 more minutes, because at 5 o'clock Eastern, we will be randomly selecting a winner, and we will announce that winner at that time on Twitter, and we will be contacting you, and we will be getting your brand new HDK, and then hopefully you will be able to build something amazing and submit it to biLab, and maybe you could be featured on a future edition of biLab Live, just like Gabriel and Jude are today. That concludes trivia.
Andrew, I forgot to mention something if I could.
Yes, absolutely, Jude.
Yeah, I meant to reiterate that it is, you can use this with the cloud, and you can use this with the Arduino modules, and all the modules, or all the bits.
Yeah, it's a great point, especially for something like that, having that kind of variable notification, if you will, and being able to manipulate that either via Arduino or either cloud. That's a powerful thing. Okay, so we are approaching the end of our show, our very first show.
We have some guests joining us.
We do have some guests joining us.
Hangout. Hello, welcome.
And so this is the opportunity where we want to open things up, especially to those folks who are live in our Hangout, as well as if you are on Twitter. We have our Twitter army armed and ready to help present some of your questions to us so we can answer here live on the air. Or if you want to chat us, we can respond that way. So does anybody have any questions either for us or for our two awesome presenters today?
I would like to thank you for what you are doing. It's very inspiring. I'm hanging out with you from Mexico.
Great, welcome.
That's wonderful.
Very small town 2 hours north from Mexico City, and I'm very enthusiastic. I'm a clown. I'm a full-time idiot, but I am very enthusiastic about synthesizers and making noises, and I'm using it in my show. So now that I saw your work and the littleBits, the kit with the collaboration with Korg, I'm gonna order one. So I was very curious about knowing more about this, and thanking you, and I'll be checking out the Hangouts.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, thank you for the kind words.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the synth kit's a lot of fun. If you haven't had the chance to check it out, it's a complete synthesizer in a box, and something that we worked on last year with great company Korg, based out of Japan, and we'll actually be adding to that line of synth-based littleBits modules later this year. We showcased some of those new modules at Sonar Festival in June in Barcelona. Cool things like MIDI and CV, USB, I/O. So that'll be coming out before the end of the year, and it'll really allow you to sort of expand what you can do and connect the synth kit to all your other music making equipment. So that should be a lot of fun and a lot of interest to people out there with synth kits.
And just to follow up on that, we actually have some synth-related modules up on the biLab, along with Gabriel's and with Jude's. The big thing that we definitely want to encourage everybody to do, if you're watching this, is that, you know, as a reminder, the way the biLab works is that it's up to the community to determine which modules we go ahead and manufacture and sell. And so each of these designers and developers have really put a lot of time into building their prototypes, and we encourage everybody to head on to the biLab, littlebits.cc/bitlab, and please vote. And in fact, right now we're actually running a promotion where if there is a module that you voted for, if that module makes it all the way through to sale, you'll actually get 20% off that end sale price. So on behalf of the developers, please, please, please definitely go vote. Speaking of our developers, one thing while we have you guys here live on air, Gabriel and Jude, Jude, if we can start with you, I would love to know what advice you might want to offer future bitlab developers, either based on your experience prototyping or based on your experience submitting directly to the bitlab.
I think it would be a good idea to try to make bits that have already been made by using the schematics that are available on GitHub, and really get used to looking at those schematics. And then if you do have something that you want to submit and you need to learn EagleCAD, Jeremy Blum has some great videos on YouTube. He has a 3-part tutorial on EagleCAD, and I used the first one to get through the first hurdle for the submission process.
Excellent, yeah, and another note about Eagle, you know, it's a tool that we use because it's really common in open source. They have a freeware version that you can use to prototype and do sort of your experimentation at home. And there's some other, aside from Jeremy Bloom, I know SparkFun and Adafruit also have some tutorials on their website that are pretty informative and step you through various stages and skill levels and advancement in learning the software. So check that as well.
Yes. And then Gabriel, I'd love to know your thoughts as well. I know you sort of come from a you know, an established company where you have a lot of existing products. What was your experience and what advice do you?
Yeah, sure. My advice is that half the work is already done. You take the templates, just focus on your idea, and you will be good to go. Well, for me, it was a little bit difficult because I mainly use OrCAD, and now I had to translate that into Eagle. So I made my own bitlibs library for the connectors. But for the open source community that are used to use Eagle, and it's very easy. You just take the templates, you put in, you just take the design, you put your idea, and you're set.
Yeah, we tried to make it as easy as possible, and so we have templates for all different kinds of board sizes, which you can download from the bitlab website. And basically, you know, we have the templates, we have our library, we have some preferred parts that we use commonly in our designs and our manufacturing, and basically anyone out there can kind of drop their circuit design, their schematic in there, route the board, and you have you have a prototype that should be ready to go.
I have a question about the process.
Sure.
Sure.
If you know, it gets to 1,000 votes and you get to the next you know, whatever you have to do next, and you don't know exactly how to position things in EagleCAD, or, you know, make it super littleBits friendly, or even maybe you need help with coding, you know, do you help with that?
So yeah, we definitely want to help sort of what we would describe as the DFM process, or design for manufacture. So once a design has kind of reached those votes, you know, we'll be working with the submitters to kind of make sure that the end product is in line with everything that we've been doing and continue to do with the internal design stuff. So there'll definitely be rounds of feedback and be able to kind of help out on the electronic side of things. As far as the coding, it's slightly a little bit different. So we'd probably ask for the most part that people work on the firmware and things on their own. When it comes to the manufacturing, that's where we can help a lot in terms of getting something ready for production. But
what I will say is that this is actually a fantastic opportunity if I can plug our forum. So we have a fantastic community of people, of which everybody here who's joining us is a part of, and Jude has been a very strong community pro for a number of years. But we have a number of others who are experts in various aspects of embedded systems design. So definitely head over to the forum, and if there are particular questions around firmware or coding or IDEs or whatever you can dream up, I promise you that there will be someone there who can help you out along the way.
Okay, great answer.
So with that, we are just at about 4:20, and that unfortunately ends our very first episode. But have no fear, because we will be back at the exact same time next week. So a quick thanks to our developers for joining us. 2 quick reminders. You have about 40 minutes left. If you know the answer to our trivia question, what color was our room at our Maker Faire booth, please head on over to Twitter and tweet at us, #AskBitLab, and tell us, and you have the chance to win a brand new hardware development kit. And then I think
that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks Gabriel and Jude. Everybody that's joined with us. Thanks
Thank you.
Falco
That's Jack, sorry.
Falcon behind us here, mascotting the show. So yeah, hope to see you everybody next week, and happy
Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday.
Right, thanks for the invite.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you everybody.
Adiós, amigos.
Adios.
Adios.